Hi everyone, it's Shannon and welcome to today's video. So today's video, very excited to do because we're doing the series that I had mentioned in my best of 2022 palettes, and that is ranking all the palettes that I used in this month. So I'm going to be ranking all the palettes that I used in January 2023, and I have to tell you, it was a lot harder than I expected because I came down with 14, and it's actually not going to be just palettes. If I did a single shadow eye look, I am including that as well. But this was a lot harder than I expected because these are all things that I love. These are all palettes that I like. So I decided to basically rank it on the look that I achieved this month. So maybe it's a palette I really like, but the look I got that particular night was then it might be lower on the list. So that's kind of how I'm gonna decided to do it because it was a lot harder than I expected. I only have one new item this month, which personally I'm very proud of because the whole purpose of this series is to make a more conscious effort to use what I have and to reach into the palettes that I maybe haven't reached into in a while and rediscover them and then kind of share them and also just make a more conscious effort to use what I have. And that really did help. There were palettes that I reached into that I hadn't reached into in a while, and it definitely helped. And also I was using different brands. I also made a conscious effort to try and use different brands. There's a Viseart, which I hadn't reached into my Viseart palettes in a while. So now a couple of them have like NARS and Huda Beauty have 3 each. So there are a couple brands that are gonna have more than others, but I thought I did pretty well this month with diversifying what I used and definitely using a lot of the palettes that I own. So before I just kind of rambling on, I also do want to say that I did steal this idea from Samantha March. I will post her channel down below. She is no longer doing this. She stopped it in 2022. She's not going to be doing this going forward. So I feel comfortable kind of stealing this idea, but I totally stole this idea from her, and because I thought it was a great idea, and I personally enjoyed watching them because it gave me an idea of like, oh, I need to reach into that palette more. So totally stole this idea from her. So thank you, Samantha March. Okay, so as I stated, we have 14 palettes to go through, and I'm gonna just kind of run through them really quick. If I have a picture or a screenshot or some video of when I wore that look, I will post it. I will put it in the video. And again, this is gonna be, let me know in the comments if you like this type of video, what you like about it, what you don't like, what you want me to include, because again, this is a series that I'm doing more for myself, again, to get to use the palettes that I own, and but I also want to make it something useful for my viewers. So please, if you have any comments or suggestions, leave them in the description box below. And again, all of these I do love. So none of these are duds, none of these are things that I don't like because there's only one new palette. And I just want to make sure that's an emphasis. So my number 14 this month is from Kaja Beauty, which breaks my heart, but it's from Kaja Beauty. It's the Chocolate Dahlia, and it's actually what I'm wearing right now. So I actually really like it. It's nothing that I don't like. It's just a very plain, it's one of their beauty bentos. It has the shimmer, and then it has the transition shade, and then the deeper shade. And it's a really pretty beauty bento. It is what I'm wearing today. And I reached into this one specifically because whenever I reach into them, I tend to grab Peach Madeleine or Mauve Bouquet. I go for those two. So today, when I was going to film, I reached into this one thinking, you know what, I want to use one of the other ones I don't use often. So I reached into Chocolate Dahlia. I love the look I came out with. This is super easy. I needed something quick too. That was another thing. I needed something quick, super easy. Transition, smoke it on the outside, put the shimmer on the lid, I'm done. So this was a very quick and easy look. So it's nothing intricate. It's very basic. I like it. It came out really nice. It's very versatile. But again, of the other looks that I did this month, you know, this was probably, you know, my least favorite because it's just very plain and basic, but I still like it. So no complaints about it, but number 14 is the Kaja Beauty Chocolate Dahlia. Okay, so my number 13 is the Natasha Denona Retro Glam. So there it is. Now this one was, I want to say it was higher on my list for 2022. And again, I do really like this palette. The look that I came out with, I was kind of doing some more just kind of greens and kind of playing around with some green tones, and it was just a very basic look. Again, it wasn't anything against the palette, just kind of the look that it came out with. It was very basic. It wasn't, I've definitely gotten, you know, more favorite looks out of this palette so far, but it was a really pretty look, you know, but it was very basic. So, but nothing that I didn't like. It wasn't like I was gonna wash my eyes off, but really pretty palette. And it is my number 13 this month. Okay, so number 12 is one of the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize. I don't remember what it was. I was filming a video and I needed to do something very, very quick. And I went with the one look and I did the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize. And this is the Sunlit Glow. This is the one that came out last year. I absolutely love it. And actually I got a lot of compliments on the eye look that night, and it was so simple. It's just literally I put some the bronzer on as a transition, and then I put this on top, blend it out, and I'm done. It's super quick, super easy. I love the Sunlit Glow. I'm really torn between Copper Sunrise, which is discontinued, is my favorite, but Sunlit Glow and Exaggerize, I go between the two of my favorites, but it is really this one is such a pretty color. So this is my number 12. Okay, so for number 11, it is the Sigma Beauty Diana Saldana, and which is funny because this one was in my top 5 for 2022, but this month it's kind of lower on the list, and again, it comes down to the look that I got. It was just, I think that this palette can do so much more than what I did with that particular look. I absolutely love this blue shade. I didn't use that. I'm trying to remember. I think I went, again, very basic. I think this is what I wore in that video for the best palettes of 2022. And it was a nice, simple look, really pretty, but this palette can do so much more, but it really is a pretty palette. So I also love the size of it. And if you like the size of the Huda Beauty or the Natasha Denona, it is a little smaller than the Huda Beauty. So I like that fact because it stores well, because it stores with my other palettes. But again, it's a beautiful palette, love it. Just this month, it kind of fell down to 11. Okay, so number 10, we're gonna come out with the NARS Orgasm Rising. And here it is. And I really do like this palette, but I've only used it the one time. I need to reach into it again. And it is and I talked about this in my review video. So this is the only new palette. And I talked about it that it's very, very basic. It also doesn't have a lot of depth. So you're not gonna get a lot of depth with some of these shades. However, some of these shades are absolutely beautiful. But again, there was just other looks and other palettes that I used this month that kind of just raised it above. And I do have the other two NARS 9 pans because I did take 5 palettes with me on vacation. You know, that's the way I roll. But, and 2 of them were the other 2 NARS 9 pans. And I really loved the looks that I came out with that on vacation. So I don't know, it's not that I like this one less than the others. It is kind of one that's just you don't get as much depth, but I do really like the looks I get with it. But you know, it's just, again, very basic, but I do love this shade right here in the corner is really pretty. So I want to get to use this one more. So I need to reach into this one a little more, but right now this one's number 10. Okay, so number 9 is the palette. I believe I wore this in the Best of Beauty 2022, not the palettes, but the other one. And it is the Pillow Talk Dreams from Charlotte Tilbury. This was the only eyeshadow she came out with in 2022. And I like this one so much more than Pillow Talk, the original. I even decluttered that one. I think this one is beautiful. This is one that, again, that night I needed to film, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury quads are no-brainers. I can just do these fast, transition, outer corner, put this on the lid, inner corner, brow bone, done. Easy peasy, and it always looks good. The thing with it is that you're just always gonna get the same look. You're not gonna get anything different, which is fine. I reach into this one when I know what I want. I need something fast and I want a good look, and this is what's gonna give it to me. So this one is number 9 for this month. I did love the look that it came out with, but you know, it's gorgeous. Okay, 8 is another Charlotte Tilbury quad, and it's one that I hadn't reached into in a while, and it was because of this video that I reached into it, which again was just made me realize this was the video that I need to do. And it is the Copper Charge from Charlotte Tilbury. Now, I did a Charlotte Tilbury quad ranking a while back. It's somewhere on my channel. Actually, I'll post it up here. This one I think is in the top 5. It may even be number 2. I love this one. This one is made for people with blue eyes. It's absolutely stunning. It only has one matte, and then you have the 3 shimmers, but it's just so beautiful. And it's every time I wear it, I get compliments on my eye looks, and it's also very easy. I wore this when we went to Monster Jam. I was running late and I had very little time to put my makeup on, and I just kind of reached into my drawer and I was like, okay, what can I do fast? And Copper Charge I knew would give me a great going out look, because I was actually going out, even though it was Monster Jam, and I wanted something that, you know, was a going out look, but didn't look like I was doing it in 5 minutes. And Copper Charge can do that. It's just absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous. And I can do this one. I just pop this one all over the lid, do the shimmer on the, you know, pop this one in the transition all over, and then the crease, and then the other one of the shimmers on the lid, and then inner corner. It's done. It's super easy. Just love the way this one looks. And then if you have blue eyes, Copper Charge is such a great quad. I do like this one a little bit more than Pillow Talk Dreams, just because of the color story, because this one really makes my blue eyes pop. Okay, so we're halfway through, and as I did mention, I did take the 2 NARS 9 pans on the vacation, and so number 7 is going to be Summer Solstice. This was one of them. I brought this one and the other one that will be a little bit higher, and this is Summer Solstice, and again, very similar to Orgasm Rising, except this one is a little deeper. So, you know, I tend to like a little deeper, you know, eyeshadow. This one will probably just kind of always edge out over Orgasm Rising. But if you like more lighter shadows, maybe that one's for you. But I love this one. I use this one. I can't remember which day. I'll have to look at my vacation and see which pictures I remember this, that I use this one. But I just loved, I loved the eyeshadow looks that I came out with one vacation. I kind of really did take my time and think about, you know, take my time doing my makeup. And I just loved it. And it's just, again, it's such a pretty 9 pan. And again, because of the warmer tones, it is going to make my blue eyes pop, which I also, you know, absolutely love. Okay, number 6 on my list is the other NARS 9 pan, and it is Climax. So this one is definitely a lot deeper. We've talked about this one before, and this one was, I went with some color. I went with the blue eyeshadow. I wore this the night we went to Magic Kingdom, and I was wearing a blue shirt and had blue ears, and I went with the blue eyeshadow, and it was a very smoky, probably, you know, a little too much smoky eye for Magic Kingdom, but, you know, why not? And I just loved the way it looked. You know, towards the end of the night, it got, you know, a little sketchy, but I thought it held up pretty well. And I just loved the way my eye came out that night. You know, and I don't wear blue eyeshadow often, but this is a blue eyeshadow that I can wear. And I just love this 9 pan. It's so beautiful. Unfortunately, it was limited edition and it's gone. Okay, so moving on to number 5, and it is the Viseart Solstice. So this is one of the Petite Pros. I love this size from Viseart. This is their little 8 pans, but they're so tiny. They're so travel friendly. But the problem is that even though when I travel, I end up taking a big palette because I'm crazy. So I love that these are great for travel. I need to take these more when I travel because I think they're so great. But I used this the other day. Actually, I used it yesterday to do a TikTok, and I love this. I forgot how much I love this this eyeshadow, and specifically this shade right here. It's like a duochrome. Very simple. It's a warm toned palette. 8, you know, very simple. You got 4 mattes, 4 shimmers, really easy. You can get a couple looks with it, but Viseart is just a really good, solid brand. Really good to use. Really good quality eyeshadow. very, very easy, and I just absolutely loved the look that I came out with. So I need to reach into these more because I have quite a few of these Petite Pros. These are my favorite, and I just don't. So I'm gonna make a conscious effort to definitely reach into more of my Petite Pros from Viseart, as well as maybe even do a ranking. I have about 8, I think, and there's 2 new ones that came out that I haven't purchased yet. It's the London and the San Francisco. So if you're interested in maybe seeing a video on those and maybe doing a ranking, maybe I'll pick those up. But so for this ranking, the Viseart Solstice was number 5. Okay, so for number 4, 3, and 2, they are almost interchangeable because I really struggled, and I just kind of finally just was like, you know what, this is what they are. And I really loved all the looks that I came out with. These are the 3 palettes that I took on vacation with me. They're all Huda Beauty. These were the 3 large palettes that I took with me, and I loved everything that I did, and I pretty much used coordinated the eyeshadow with what I was wearing, what color I was wearing, etc. So I'm going to rank them, but they're pretty much like all kind of tied for 2. But number 4 is going to be Rose Quartz. So Rose Quartz, really pretty. I just love it. It's gorgeous. And I think I wore this one twice. I pretty much wore all of them twice. And this one I remember the look that I got at Disney Springs. I really liked. So I got to use some of the shades that I hadn't really used before, just really loved. And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous palette, cool toned, something I'm not typically, I tend to lean more towards the warm tones. So I have to think more about these types of palettes to kind of think about what a cohesive look for me. I'm getting better at it, but for cool tones, it is a little bit, I need more time, put it that way. So, but when I do use this one, it's very, and I do kind of play around with it. I usually do like the looks that I came out with. So this one, my Rose Quartz, was number 4. Okay, so if you hear strange noises, that is my pug that's like 13, 14 years old, and she's just making some funny noises. So my number 3 and 2 of the Huda Beauty is my Empowered. So this was my number 1 of my Huda Beauty ranking, and but this for this purpose of this month, it was number 3. Absolutely loved it. It's just gorgeous. I did play around with on vacation. I did wear this, like I said, I wore the Huda Beauty palettes twice, which is probably why they're kind of higher on the list. I did get to play around with the cream shadows a little bit and use them as liners, which worked really, really well. I didn't bring any eyeliner. Those were the liners that I used on vacation, so I did use that a lot. Just gorgeous, warm toned palette, very versatile, got some great looks out of it. Just a gorgeous palette. Absolutely love it. Still love it. And, if again, with Huda Beauty, the palettes, they tend to be limited edition. They tend to go out. This one just came out, so it will probably be around for a while, as with the Rose Quartz. But if you start to see them on sale, like half off, that means they're probably on their way out. So keep that in mind. But my number 3 is the Empowered. Okay, so 2 more left, and my number 2 and my number 1 from the palettes I took on vacation and the Huda Beauty palettes is the Naughty palette. So the Naughty, if you watched my Huda Beauty ranking, this was number 3, but I just loved playing with this one. And again, my 1, 2, and 3, which were the 3 that I took, I had said it in that video that I really just loved all 3, and I really just had a lot more fun with this palette, and because it's got a little bit more color than the Empowered, you've got some, this color here, Desire, I just absolutely love. It's just so gorgeous, and so I really played around with it and just loved it so much. And I can't remember, I think I wore this palette when we did our pictures. I can't remember exactly, but I just remember just like, I almost wanted to reach into this palette every single day. So my number 2 is the Huda Beauty Naughty Nude. And then finally, my number 1 palette for January 2023 is the Pat McGrath Moonlit Seduction. I wore this to, if you want to believe it, I wore this to Jurassic World, the live tour. Again, those are the types of things I go out to. but I wanted to look pretty, and I wanted to use a palette that I hadn't used in a while, and this was one, and this is a very expensive palette, and I reached into it and I loved it. It's just, and again, very easy to work with. The mattes are just absolutely beautiful. And then I believe I went with this one on the lid, and I had a couple people, I posted some pictures on Instagram, and I had a couple people post like, where's your eyeshadow for? Like, what eyeshadow are you wearing? So I got a lot of compliments just because it's so gorgeous. I know this isn't a lot of people's favorite Mothership, and I'm not even sure if it's mine. They're definitely one of my favorites. This is definitely in my top 3 of the Pat McGrath Mothership palettes, but every time I wear it, I just love it so much. So, but it's something special, and that is why it is my number 1 for January 2023. So there you have it. Those are my rankings for January 2023 of all the palettes I used this month. Again, only one new palette of the 14 or looks, I guess. I mean, this isn't a palette, but you know what I mean. Only one new out of the 14, so I think that's really good. Again, I am doing this probably more for me to consciously reach into the palettes that I don't use and that I have already. And I think especially with the economy and where things are going right now, I think I'm going to be more frugal. I'm definitely going to be more frugal in what I'm purchasing. Thinking of Pat McGrath, they had the launch for the Love collection. I didn't purchase any. I didn't purchase anything. I even was thinking about the liquid lipsticks. I'm like, oh, I could compare them to the Ice to Mesmerize. And I decided, you know what? I'm not. I don't need, there's going to be enough reviews on it. So I passed, and I'm glad I did. I have no regrets. And I personally have decided not to purchase any of the 6 pans of Pat McGrath. I just feel like I like the Quince and I like the Motherships, but the 6 pans I just never reached for when I did have them. I would use them once and that was it. So I'm, again, making a more conscious effort to use what I have, and I hope that you do the same. And if you like this type of video, let me know. Critiques, comments, suggestions, anything, leave them in the comment box below. And with that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.